This is a TS100, the fancy new Chinese soldering iron everyone's getting. I got 2 of these in the mail today and they work great, except that the one that I tried works well, but it's making fizzy noises and it smells bad. So I think there's something that's gone a bit wrong in the manufacture of this thing. Again, it's working just fine if we put our 20.5 volt supply in. It powers on, but it makes fizzy noises and smells bad, so we're not going to keep doing that, because I think they've either put the wrong capacitor across the power input of this, or they've put it in back to front, so it's getting reverse polarized and destroying itself. Whatever the case, we can't use them like this, because the decoupling capacitor is going to be there for a reason, and we certainly do not want to run it with no decoupling cap at all, and we do not want the entire inside covered in horrible smelly electrolytes. So I actually have no idea how to get inside one of these. I haven't tried. I have no idea what to expect. I haven't bought into the TS100 meme yet. Well, prior to now, that is. So I actually haven't even watched a teardown. How are you supposed to get this apart? Let's use our blade powers. Is this going to come? It's moving. Snap, crackle, pop. Okay, there's a little latch there. There's probably another one on this side. Yeah. There we go. And another one. Now how's this weird logo thing at the back gonna work? There's tape holding that on. Come on. How's this supposed to go? I think it might be just like snapped around the back, maybe? This plastic is quite brittle. I actually thought these were made out of aluminium when I first saw them, but no, they're plastic. I was quite surprised. So we don't see any electrolytics here. It's not smelling as bad as it was before. I would be surprised if there was no decoupling cap, but we do have a fair bit more thickness underneath the board there. It certainly was making fizzy noises, and I want to find out why. And let's get our tiny screwdrivers in. So I'm not sure if there's 2 screws here on the tip connector. Let's have a look at the tip mechanism actually. So this is basically a big TRS. You just slide it in. It makes a little contact there. Pure copper contacts. Going to be quite good. Although I wonder how well that's going to last in the long term after many tip exchanges, but as we'll find out. So does this just lift off, or is it screwed in? I think we'll probably undo these little screws here. Gamer Paddy in chat says TS80 is made out of aluminium, TS100 is plastic, gets brittle after a while, especially on the hot side. And he says that his broke. Well, these are quite cheap. Well, not real. I think these were like 50 euros a piece or something, so it's reasonably expensive for a China product. So, is this going to lift out? Okay, that's the grained thingy. How is this mounted? I would need to get rid of the grained screwy thing. This feels very loose now. There comes a button. And there's no electrolytic in here. What the hell was making the fizzing noise? It was still making the fizzing noise after I disconnected it. This is strange. Is it just a really noisy voltage regulator? What on earth? I am genuinely surprised. Perhaps they just smell different from factory, or perhaps that's just placebo. Probably was placebo, just thought they smelled different. So if you're just joining, this TS100 was making noises that sounded like a venting capacitor. But there is no capacitor in there to vent. Curious. I wonder how it would manage to make noises with the power removed. Jeez. Let's have a look under the microscope if there's anything interesting to see. This is quite beautifully integrated, all of this. Very nice compact design. But what's making the fizzy noise? There's the OLED display. You can see the little pixels. What was making the fizzy noise? Is it still going to make the fizzy noise if we connect it up? Let's just do it again. Ah, that's beautiful. That looks so nice. The microscope camera doesn't quite catch how cool the OLED display actually looks. Hey, you can't see anything now, can you? Ha! That just looks really cool under the microscope. So this is not making fizzy noises right now. Well, it's making a slight fizzy noise. Probably from the OLED driver. I'm just confused now as to what I've heard that I thought was this thing making a fizzy noise. I held up my ear and I'm positive I heard a fizzy noise. Oh, there's no fizzy noise. This is just a well-behaved product. There's nothing to be worried about. So let's just put it back together, I guess. I'll have to slide home with my tail between my legs. At least I learned what these look like inside. I mean, they really are nice. We can clean these contacts while we're at it. make it just a bit better than it would have been otherwise. They really are a nice design. Like, such a powerful soldering iron, such a tiny format. I mean, that's my usual soldering iron, just the pen. You could fit this inside if you wanted to. Not bad at all. There's nothing in here which would make weird noises. Oh well. Strange. Maybe my house is haunted. The ghost of electronics past. So, Oh, missing anything else from this side? No. Oh, we actually have little metal inserts here that the tip connectors go into. That's a neat design, although I would kind of prefer having it made to the PCB. But you do want to have a very rigid mounting for the tip connector, since I see a lot of mechanical abuse. Let's wipe this off. Colin Burns says, "Oh hey, I remember you saying you wanted to get a TS100 when I was talking about mine." Yes, indeed. And just like a few weeks ago, I got around to actually ordering a couple from Banggood. Now that the hype has kind of settled, now they've come down in price a bit from how they used to be. They were a bit more expensive for a while after everyone's favourite Apple laptop technician went on and made a rave review of them. Calvin Burns asks, "Did you put the custom firmware on yours?" No, I literally unpacked these like 15 minutes ago. Then I went, "Why is this making noise? Let's take them apart." Main straight, please. Alphonse Jeans says hello. Hello, Alphonse. Jonathan Blaze says, "Maybe your house is built on an Indian burial ground." Oh, I don't think we had Indians in Finland, to be honest. There's actually the possibility to solder these in place. I wonder if that's something that would make it better or worse. I can't really imagine there being a really good connection. There just being a screw holding these connectors in place. So maybe we can do TS100ception and use the other TS100 to solder the pads of the first TS100. I'll get a bit of a demo out of it and see if this one also makes weird fizzy noises. I love how the stupidly pointed tip has just stabbed the packaging there. The tips I got with these were super duper thin. I didn't mind these at all. They could be quite useful for precision work. Although cone tips are never really good because you have such poor thermal conductivity. Let's see if I can use my big fat test tip for this. Oh yeah, that's going to work beautifully. On one of them. Yeah, it's going to work there as well. So let's see if this one's going to work. I haven't tested this one at all, so it's a world premiere. It's a cheap China thing, so you never know what you're going to get. So you'll have 20.5 volts coming there. It powers on, version 2.18. Let's do the like calibration thing it wants you to do. And that's supposed to do something. Instructions were very firm on doing that. How do we actually turn this on? Do we need to wait? I think we just have to wait for this to go away. There we go. Heating up. These are impressively quick. I really like the performance of them. Like, the hype is justified. We're already up to workable temperature. That's just set to 300. So this one is making a bit of a squealy noise as well. It really does make a squealy noise. It seems to be as if it's pulsing the heater on and off very quickly. It's not going to get picked up by a microphone, but now that I know better, I can see how I would have perhaps mistook that for the sound of an electrolytic capacitor destroying itself. And the fact it seemed to keep going after I turned it on must have just been because, I don't know, I'm hallucinating. Let's do it under a microscope so you guys can have a good look. We're just going to be soldering the contacts in place to get a bit of a demo for how this thing is going to go. So I've never used one of these before. The most I've used TS100 was to just kind of test heat in a laptop motherboard a bit. So we're going to see how well this is going to go. If we're just going to melt the case to bits. It's only set to 300C, so it shouldn't be too bad. Let's get a bit of flux on there. Here we go. Let's see how well this thing is going to work. There we go. That's flowed some solder on there. We can see that we have a solder covering all of the underside of that big pad. You can see it kind of seeping out along the edge there, so that's going to make an excellent connection. We also soldered the screw, which I didn't really want to achieve, since that's going to conduct a lot of heat into the plastic of the case, which is not good. Let's just do the other connector as well and continue our reassembly. Where did my flux go? And this is set to 300C, so it seems to have a very nice and tight regulation loop. And this one will just have the possibility to heat right at the edge here. I don't solder the stupid screw. This is copper, so it should work quite well as soon as we get... Ah shit, we still need to... let's... Oh god. So I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. See, we need to get our little grind clippy thing in there before we actually do that to a screw, so we can't get it out again. Because there's no way for us to install our grind clipper thing without mangling our way through the solder on this screw, and I don't want to heat it up because that's, well, not good for plastic, so it's excavation time. This has gone so wrong. So what was supposed to be, I thought, a quick swap of an electrolytic capacitor, which does not exist, has turned into an excavation, and me rendering one of these definitely useless. Maybe we can just wick the solder out of that, because it's not going to excavate properly, I don't think. Let's just give it another brute force go. Can we get this to turn into Phillips? That's not looking good. Oh yeah, it's also stuck down there, of course. Let's just try and wick the solder out, see how much of a plastic case we've ruined. At least I get some practice in using the TS100. Ah, jeez, this solder braid is way too thin for this, but oh well. Yeah, there's a screw showing up. That's workable. That went way better than I thought it would. But I suppose the head of a Phillips screw does not have a huge amount of capillary force. Maybe we can even kind of destroy that solder bridge. Maybe it's slightly weakened, probably not. Let's see if we can turn this. Hey, it's loose. Was saved. So if I've succeeded, this connector should now be stuck to the case, stuck to the board, even without the screw in place. Let's give it a try. Let's also remove the other screw. That's definitely stuck down. So the TS100 did a good job soldering that in place. TS100 Inception. Oh, Gustavo Tejada just donated 10 of something $. Thank you for your $10. I have no idea what that's worth. Oh, 1 beer. Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you for the beer. Although I don't drink beer, I'll put in the vodka fund. So this is this is a bit weird. Like, it seems some of these parts are supposed to be soldered together, but they're not. I don't think the quality of this particular version is the best, because we have some definite solder pads here, and this, like, how is that supposed to connect to anything? I think we should probably solder this in place as well, just like that. I don't see what the downside of doing that would be. So let's get some clamps to hold this in place. We will grab it. Where will we grab it? It's difficult, it's very crowded. Pop a DC plug. Pop a USB plug. USB plug works. Although it does not work because it's the wrong way around. Okay. DC plug works. It really wants to ping off of this, but we'll give it a go. We will give it a go. Yeah, we just need to get some flux and solder on one of those and heat it and put our thing on there. So let's just get some heat. That's a very good performance for being set to just 300 degrees. I'm impressed. Bit of flux. And I will not make the mistake of trying to hold a piece of copper that I'm soldering with my hands. We will use the tweezers for that. And put it right there in the middle. And it's stuck on there. Put a bit of solder on the other side as well. And we're good to go. Did that take? It's quite difficult to actually get solder to really wick in such a tight place. Oh, it didn't take. It didn't even take on either side. Huh. It was just glued down by the flux. Whoops. So let's try that again. Not doing a terrible job at it. All we need is more flux and more heat and making sure we actually get the metal hot enough to melt the solder underneath. So one mistake I did was I didn't tin the tip prior to actually getting it on there, so we'll do that. Now we'll really make sure we get a good thermal connection to the copper. And that should have done it. Yeah, that's now stuck on there proper. And now we can do this one. Also making sure we get a good thermal connection. That should hopefully have melted in place. Yeah, it seems to be stuck down on both sides now. Someone in chat is telling me that R dollars means Brazilian real. That is worth 222 euros, so quite exactly a beer. Thank you very much. I did not realise I had anyone watching from Brazil. Okay, so with that all out of the way, let's get back to reassembling this actually brand new piece of electronics which I had no business taking apart in the first place. Yeah. So that's going to fit. is this not fitting now? What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? Why is this no longer fitting? That's weird. Oh, right, it's this little metal tab here that needs to be bent in the absolutely right angle. So we need to give this a bit of a inch forward, like that, I think. And it's going to be fine because there's this little plastic fin at the bottom there. The two pieces sticking out forward from the screw hole are getting in the way. There we go. It clicked in place. It's not really going down all the way anymore though, because the solder on top of the thing is too thick, so we need to fix that by just cutting it off. No space for thick copper, thick solder. And I'm making a huge mess of the display now. I don't want any grease on the inside of my OLED display, it's so nice and sharp. There we go. Okay, now it's actually back together quite properly, I think. Hopefully. Where are... Oh god, that's the screw. So we will attempt to screw this back in. Come on, in you go. That one's in, and we are definitely bending the PCB doing that. Oh well. Let's get some flux in between here because we are soldering that as well. And the second piece of copper. Jeez, we're almost out of frame. That's better. There we go, that's all nicely assembled now. So let's move on with the proper soldering. Trying not to forget any pieces this time around. So if you're just joining us, this thing was making fizzy noises because it's just switching the heater on and off quite rapidly, and it seems to be normal for it to make slight hissing noises. I thought they were abnormal hissing noises and bad smelling hissing noises because apparently I'm, I don't know, wrong. I am wrong. So let's use our other TS100 to solder this connector in place, making this a better TS100. We can get the solder in. Haha! Soldering through the end there. Oh, we really don't want any solder on the top by the where it's supposed to connect to the soldering tip. Come on. There we go. Solder melted all the way underneath. Let's hope the plastic has not gotten completely destroyed in the process. It's probably fine. Oh, we made a complete mess of that resistor there. Whoops. So let's clean that up. We don't want any short circuits. Let's use our ridiculously big tip to solder a 0603. There we go. Beautiful. Nothing else needs repair on this. I mean, it worked just fine before, so I wouldn't expect it to. Nah, this is all fine. Nothing wrong with it. Well, maybe there's something wrong with it now that I've been inside. Sometimes that does happen. So let's just clean the flux out of this and get it back together properly and see if it still works. There we go. And then, yeah, it's just the bottom case left. Not many screws on this thing. Oh, it actually has a little pad there too. For the processor door to board in place. That's a nice touch. And we slip, slide. We attempt to slip, slide and crack this in place. Okay. Okay, we need to, the copper piece there needs to be poked forward a bit because there's a plastic thing holding it in place. Snap. I really like the mechanical design of the inside of this case. It's very elaborate. They've gone through a lot of effort to make this very mechanically sound. I really like this. We'll see how reliable they are in the field, but basic design-wise, I don't mind these at all. This seems to be a very nice product. Okay, let's find a tip and slide it in. I'll use the supplied. No, wait, no, don't need to. I had another one out here just like 10 minutes ago. I literally had another one right here that I've already tinned. That's ready to go. Where the hell is it? These tips are reasonably expensive, I don't want to lose them. Frantic searching noises. Oh well, guess we're taking the new one then. At least we'll find out if it works. Always put alcohol on your connectors. Ooh, that splashed into my face. Now, I don't like that you have to screw this in place. That's dodgy. Also, let's get the little mainy bits. So if you're a Banggood shopper, there are the numbers for you. This is a little metal foot thing. That seems quite good. The other one was bent all wrong. Maybe this one is better. M stand in a fancy little box. So this just snaps on here. Yeah, that's kind of okay, I guess, but it really wants to slip around and fall off. And it's useful to like rotate it. This one is better than the other one because this one I actually had to bend slightly on my own, because if you put it down like that, it would just pop off. But with a little bit of bending, quite good. So let's swap these around. We know this one works. Let's see what this one does. Did we do the calibration thing? Yeah, this is the first one. Press, click. It's still heating up. And it gets up to temp. Beautiful. And it's still making little like PWME hissing noises. It sounds very computery. If you have one of these, I recommend just listen to the back of it. It sounds like a TV computer sound effect. Okay, good. So we now have two working TS100s. So let's get the other one, which has the fatter tip, and do a bit of a demo while we're at it, because I was quite impressed with the thermal performance of them. So, well, I usually run my irons at 350-ish degrees when I'm just doing normal work. I think you need to like heat up to before you're allowed to adjust, so we'll put it at 350. There we go. And we'll take a laptop and see what we can do, because this is a PC motherboard. It has quite a bit of copper on it. So, well, I actually have my big iron going already with a big tip. So let's do a bit of a comparison if we can get down to reasonable exposure. So yeah, we have these two spots which are reasonably similar. Let's see how easy it is for this to just tin. This was at 72 watts, OU 2901. Now that's flowing almost instantly. This board is not super heavy duty. Let's go to the other side. It's not warm at all. So this is the TS100 on 20.5 volts. Oh, that's working just fine as well. I can tell it's not quite as adept as the 72 watt OU, but it's certainly doing a good job for being a potentially portable device. Do I have like a normal PC motherboard? They're usually a bit heavier gauge, but I don't think I have anything scrapped at easy reach. Do I have any like super heavy parts of this? Do I have anything interesting to desolder? This board is not very good for this demo. Not very good at all. It's just too lightweight. Jeez, I should have some kind of trashy computer motherboard somewhere. I'm quite certain that I do. Probably downstairs, so give me a moment. Enjoy the house noises while we fetch a computer motherboard. Dirty computer motherboard. Okay, there we go. So anyone who's ever tried knows that getting capacitors off a PC motherboard is a pain with any kind of weak soldering iron. So let's just do a couple of these that are really tied close to the ground plane and power plane of the CPU socket, which is completely ruined, by the way. And see how the TS100 fares against the OE. And even the OE 2901 struggles with this kind of thing. So let's get to like a baseline time. We're starting at 4650. There's a shit ton of solder on there. Heating. Okay, capacitor's just becoming too hot to touch. Ouch. This might actually not be happening without preheating the board. Ouch, there it came. So 4650, 47, so about a minute to desolder that capacitor with some rather questionable handling by me. Let's give this, put this up to 400 just to give the best chance it's got, because it's not going to be 400C other tip anyway. So now we're starting at 4815. Now this is not the right tip for this actually, but it's the biggest tip I got. Ouch, this is working very well actually. These caps get so hot to touch that it's impossible to yank them out. Yeah, that solder's melted. So that's off. No problems. Problem went a bit quicker since I actually used the pliers for this. Let's do a couple more. You can't see shit, can you? There we go. Let's do the next capacitor in the line. No preheating on this board. Just add a shit ton of solder. Pliers on it. So we're just pumping heat into this. And it's out. This is working very well. So with this mostly, demonstrates is that we have good thermal contact between the heater and the actual tip of a soldering iron, which is very important. How that came out as well. This is very, very good performance. I'm highly impressed. This is definitely almost on par with my 2901. Shit, it might even be better, to be brutally honest. Let's just give the 2901 another go. On the next cap in line. Well, I don't think this is going to be any contest actually. So it's yeah, that was loose quite almost instantaneously. The only reason that took a sec was because I was just like mangling it around a bit too much. It's difficult to get it out sometimes. If you don't pull exactly straight, the legs are going to like catch on the solder holes. But regardless, we were desoldering capacitors from a non-preheated computer. Very hot. We were desoldering caps from a non-preheated computer motherboard, no problem, with this puny little thing running off of a 20.5 volt power supply, which is, you know, a power tool battery. So I am impressed. I like this. This is good. Very good. So yeah, I think we're quite done now. If you were tuning in to find some horrible fault in the TS100, I'm sorry to disappoint. It was just a question of me reading things wrong, making a false diagnosis. And yeah, well, that's about all I got to say. Now I'm going to enjoy my evening, and I hope you guys enjoy yours as well. Let's quickly have a look at the comments, or rather the chat, before we go. Jorno says, always put alcohol on your heating stuff. Yes, that sounds stupid, but it's a very good idea. You don't know how many litres of alcohol has gone through this old thing just to clean the contacts. S12BN says, noticeable lack of happy cow noises in this stream. I'm not sure if I say happy cow noises. The pump usually just sounds kind of pained. Gamer Paddy says, the noise could have been a noise to power supply. I don't think so, since I'm powering it off of my like €700 TTI lab power supply. That should not be noisy. Johannes Fies asks, from what kind of Hitachi Densi IC is that on Boxer profile picture? I have no idea. It's like something from an old TV transmitter. I just got the boxes with the ICs inside. The ICs are beautiful gold-plated things all around. They're just quality from like the early 80s or something. Bookmo says, the weed smell sometimes come from the new tip. No, that's not the smell I imagined smelling. And that's about it. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you enjoy yourselves. I still have no idea how the end stream button works, so I'm just going to click it. Maybe you hear this, maybe you never will.